Welcome to the final episode of season 1 of the Hello Velocity podcast. It's hard to believe that we're already here. This season definitely flew by, and it's really been amazing to look back at this year, this season, and think of all the topics that we've covered and see how much this podcast has grown, how much I've grown while doing this. And I would love to just spend today kind of wrapping up this season together and covering a few topics that will help keep you accountable between seasons and then also share a few things that are coming up in the future. This podcast has been a dream of mine for several years now, so the fact that I'm at this point now where I'm already completing season 1, I was able to do all 12 episodes that I wanted to, and I did them on time, which was a huge accomplishment for me. It's just been so rewarding to see this come to life, and it's been even better how much I've heard from friends and previous clients, current clients, all these people in my network that have been listening and how much value they're getting from these episodes. I honestly didn't expect to get as much love as I've gotten, and I really appreciate it more than all of you know that you're listening, that you're seeing the value in this, and that you're starting to apply what you're learning into your everyday life. I love to hear the stories, so keep them coming. It really helps motivate me because obviously when I'm recording here, I'm just staring at my phone and my computer, and sometimes it feels like you're just talking into the internet. So I'd love to continue to hear your feedback of what you're gaining from this. And if you have any thoughts on future topics, I would love to hear what you think. I would love to hear what you're craving, what you're working on, what you'd love to learn about, because I'm here for you. And it's been interesting to see how this season really developed. When I was in the planning phases for this, I had mapped out 12 different topics that I thought would be my go-to topics to talk about. And then I did the first two. And then after that, it just kind of became a very natural, organic flow of topics that came from client conversations I'd been having and things that were just top of mind for me and things I've been working on. And just kind of a natural progression. When I recorded one episode, then it would sit with me the next week. Oh, I could also go deeper onto this other topic that's related. But it's one of those just kind of intuition moments that would come through every time I recorded an episode. And I hope that really resonated with you too, that these topics really had this fun flow to them and they really kind of built on each other too. So that was completely unplanned actually. And I love how that came together. And now looking back on season 1 and all the topics that I did record, I realized the main theme that kept coming through was some variation of work-life balance. This is something clearly that comes up constantly with my clients. It's something I'm obviously working on a lot too, that there's just so much on everyone's plates right now. We're so busy at work, we're so busy at home, and then there's so much going on in the world for all of us. And it honestly can be hard to balance all of that or find what balance looks like to you or find what that alignment looks like for you. So I hope that you can take nuggets from each of these episodes to really find that true new place of harmony, alignment, or intentionality behind your day-to-day so that you can still get as much done as you need to and be intentional with how you're spending your time, your energy. And a lot of times when my clients and myself are working through these topics, we find we're getting more done in less time because we're applying a lot of these techniques and topics that allow you to focus on what's most important, say no to the things that aren't as important, and then be sure to take care of yourself along the way. And that is really what matters most. So this season, we covered topics like work-life balance as a whole, but then also that led into navigating change because that's the biggest piece that I see that upsets our work-life balance of some sort is that sure you can have good habits or things are going according to plan, and then as soon as something changes, everything is thrown off and it's really hard to get back. So that was that natural progression there. And then also our morning routines and investing in ourselves and our well-being are super important. First and foremost, taking care of ourselves so that we have the energy in order to take care of other people, take care of our work, take care of our family, get all the things done that we want and need to get done. Then we dove into the two different sides of habits, of building good habits and breaking bad habits. Those conversations are always top of mind for my clients, always things we're working towards and tracking and seeing how that can work better for them. And then we wrapped up the season with 3 different angles of self-sabotage that I see all the time, and that was perfectionism, procrastination, and people-pleasing. And most people I work with resonate with at least one of them. if not multiple of them. I'm going to raise my hand here. I resonate with all of them to some degree and across various projects and timing. So instead of introducing a new topic today, I just wanted to kind of rehash a few areas on accountability to help you stay accountable, because there have been so many different topics we covered. And I'm sure there's all these different nuggets that you're maybe working on applying into your day-to-day or want to be practicing more. And I really, really want you to be successful. And this is the number one area I see people failing when it comes to their personal and professional development journey, is the actual implementation of what they learn. So there's so many people who are eager to learn, eager to change, and maybe they learn so many different things. They're taking all these courses or listening to all these podcasts or reading all these books. But how often are you actually implementing what you're learning? And we will have 2 months off from the podcast between seasons. And I would love for you to take that time to really begin practicing some of these habits and techniques that we've worked on throughout the season, to give you time to actually practice and implement them. I was thinking about this too, specifically for a podcast. The great thing about podcasts is a lot of time you're multitasking when you're listening. Maybe you're out for a walk, you're at the gym, you're washing dishes, you're driving to work, whatever it is, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you might not actually be taking the time to write down notes or thinking about this once you get to the location or once you're done doing the activity while you're listening. So I hope this can help you take that extra step in order to be able to take more action on these. So my first recommendation would be to pick one of the topics or techniques that you want to be working on and that you want to be prioritizing. What do you think will have the biggest impact on your life? Whether it's things we've talked about in the podcast or maybe you're learning somewhere else, this will apply to any of that. So pick one and work on that for at least 1 month before you take on something new. Because when we're doing multiple things at once, it can be really hard to implement effectively or to sustain it over the long term. So I want you to really build up that habit or really build up that practice, at least for a month before you take on anything new. And maybe even while you're picking which one you want to be focused on, set an intention for why you want to be working on that. Why is it so important to you? What is the what for behind it? What do you want to change? What do you want to look differently by having implemented this? So if it's something like the new morning routine that we had talked about previously, what is the reasoning for having a morning routine? Is it to give yourself some peace in the morning? Is it to get a clear head in the morning before you do anything else so that you can be more focused throughout the rest of the day? Whatever that is for you, think about that intention and get really clear on that. And that can help motivate you again on those days where we don't feel like doing the thing, or when it can be hard, when it feels like we're being thrown off. Refocus on your why of why you want to do this and why you're learning this. Of course, a super helpful technique as well is having an accountability buddy. So I highly recommend that. And that's one we've talked about before, is share this with someone else, share it out loud, share your reason why it's so important to you. Have a specific checkpoint with them or have a specific request for them of how you want them to be able to check in with you, when you want to be checked in on, and how far you want to be in that process. You want to have really specific expectations on both sides for you. So it's not just they ask you randomly, oh, how's it going with that thing that you're working on? Because then you'll likely just say, oh, it's good, or oh, it's not great. And then they won't be able to support you from there, right? We want it to be really specific to say, oh yeah, I've done it 6 out of 7 days this week. That was exactly my target. I'm really excited about it and I want to keep this going. Great. Okay, so maybe you don't need support, or maybe the accountability buddy then says, okay, how are you going to do that again next week? Is there any other support you need to be able to do that? Something else that really helps me when I'm starting a new habit or implementing something new I've learned is I actually keep track of it physically, either in a habit notebook or even just tracking it on my notes app on my phone. This is one of those just to really hold myself accountable, but then also I'm just a very visual person. So when I can see my progress over time, and I do this for so many different habits of mine, honestly, when I can see my progress over time, it both holds me accountable, but then also it feels like a mini celebration for myself every time I can see how long the list gets or how many cross-offs I get on the day-to-day of, oh, I did this 12 days in a row. This is so exciting to see it. It's basically the manual or old school version of all the habit tracker apps that are out there, which are also a great technique if that's helpful for you or if that's more likely to hold you accountable. Honestly, just choose whatever will be the most easy for you. For me, tracking things on my phone is easiest because I know I always have my phone with me. So I can pull it up whenever, wherever I am, and check in at the end of the day. Okay, did I do this, this, this? Check, check, check. Simple as that, right? So whatever is going to be easy for you. If you need an app that will pop up with reminders throughout the day for whatever it is, do that. And then lastly, and related, is to celebrate yourself. Don't wait for a long-term milestone or the end of the end goal to celebrate yourself, but celebrate yourself along the way, whether it's weekly, monthly, whatever that cadence looks like for you. Make sure you're celebrating yourself, and maybe your accountability buddy can help you with this as well, just to recognize how far you've come, how much you've done, and how different your life is starting to look, or your work is starting to look, than when you first started it. That can be a celebration in itself, is just taking that moment to think back, oh, when I first started this, or before I started this is what my day-to-day looked like. And now later, a few weeks in, a few months in, this is how my day-to-day looks different, and this is going in the right direction. This is everything I've been wanting, and it's so rewarding just seeing it come to life. All right, well, up next, I know I mentioned already we'll be taking about 2 months off for the podcast, so that's July and August we'll be off. Then we'll be back with season 2 come September, and I'm really excited for this season because I've decided to start interviewing people as well, so it'll likely be a balance of solo episodes like this, and then every other will be an interview with another expert in a different area of life and work. And I believe the theme for season 2 is going to be confidence, because that was one topic I'm super excited about and I talk about all the time with my clients, and it definitely needed multiple episodes to hash into. So we will be diving deep into that come next season. And also, in the meantime, I'm going to be hosting a free webinar on July 11th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The webinar is really a planning session. I'm calling it Work-Life Balance, Build a Plan That Sticks, because I really want it to be essentially a summary of season 1 of this podcast. A lot of times when you're listening to a podcast, you may not have the time to be writing down notes or to be implementing what you're working on. So I want this to be that planning session for you, where I'll be creating a workbook where you can follow along and write your answers along the way and dig into these concepts a little bit deeper for you and plan out what you want to be implementing next. So essentially, the accountability pieces we just talked about today, taking that even to the next level to build you a plan that will work in our in-between seasons. And if you can't make it live, don't worry. It will also be recorded, and I'll share it on YouTube afterwards. So check the show notes for the link to sign up for the webinar, and I hope to see you live. It would be great to just see you live for all the listeners out there, and also to ask any questions that you have on the topics we've covered already, or if you want to share any topics that you'd love to hear in the future. Definitely, that is a great place to do that. Otherwise, just shoot me an email along the way as you think of ideas or any topics that are top of mind for you. In the meantime, definitely also sign up for my newsletter, because I share at least 2 newsletters a month covering different blog posts that I've written or other articles around the web that are important topics for leaders and women in leadership especially. Also, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube, where I will be sharing other videos. I have a lot of guided meditations already out there, which have been a huge game changer for me and my work and how I'm able to keep my focus. But I'll also start recording mini trainings that are 5 minutes or less on specific topics that come up a lot with clients, and also in group sessions. And if you want to take any of this work to the next level, I currently, as of recording, do have availability for coaching clients. So I have 2 different packages, either a growth package or accountability package, depending on the types of goals that you're working on, and we can talk through that together on a free discovery call, which you can find on my website or in the show notes. And this one-on-one coaching is really taking this investment in yourself to the next level, where you will have me as your own accountability buddy, and also I'm a neutral third party for you, so I'm able to help you see things from a new perspective, and I have lots of tools and frameworks that we can apply to your specific situation and dive into what's helping, what's hurting, what's getting in your way, and what your goals are specifically, so that you can get there faster than you would on your own. And I would be honored to be on this journey with you more directly. So I have plenty of resources for you, whether it's a free webinar or coaching or online resources. I hope you can take even more learnings forward with you and apply all of this so that you can be at your best both at work and at home. Okay, that's it for today's episode. I hope to see you soon, and we will be back in September for season 2. Bye for now.